And welcome in, everybody. Before we get into this evening's live, I want to first thank everybody for tuning in. And don't get the wrong. So, oh man, it's when you see some things that are happening, it makes you just smile sometimes because we'll get into it. Will Rob, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3 months with the XRP Meteor, along with Jason Whipple. Crazy Paul, welcome in along with Syrian. Thank you both for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. And Syrian, thank you for being a very trusted mod. I really appreciate it. Two Ravens, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Let's see. Sir Smokes a lot, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. John Bugathorpe, welcome in. Hi, Tom, watching from family vacation in England. Excellent. Excellent. Well, sometimes, it feels good because even when you have the bad feelings, but you're watching certain levels and you're watching the Gatekeeper and you're watching certain things line up, and you jumped the gun on 2 million tokens of AMP, and I jumped the gun on data during my son's therapy, and I started laughing because I'm like, well, what's the worst that can happen here? And I started measuring it out, and I'm like, what's the best that can happen here? I'm like, whoa, boy. Well, the best that can happen compared to the worst that can happen, we're sitting in a pretty good spot here. And I think we're going to get a gratuitous bounce. And the reason I'm laughing is because when I'm looking at two different things, I'm looking at backed up testicular fortitude that could possibly bring us up a lot quicker than we should if we can hold these levels. And I look at AMP, and I swear to you, I've never held 2 million AMP tokens, okay? But there's something compelling and calling to me with this damn token, especially where it's at right now. And it gives me this overall good feeling because it'll make me laugh either way, because I think it would be just as ironic karma that it would say, I know you think this is where it has to happen, but remember that bad feeling you had, and then something happens in the news, and then I'm like, oh, man. But I'm letting that side go for a minute. As I said yesterday, when I bought the DGB, 2.22 million, and I bought, how else did I buy? Oh, AMP. I bought AMP, but I bought now 2.22, or 2 million, 222,000 AMP. And then data, I just don't know how many I bought. It was almost $5,000 worth when I bought it, though, I can tell you that much. It was 328,896 tokens. So if you're wondering what I did, that's very quickly what I did. And I know I was going to wait for a little bit longer on data, but I couldn't do it. It's the setup. So you might read between the lines with the way I started, but, it's a good read between the lines. The only reason I'm punching myself in the face is the XDC thing. Like watching it yesterday, and we even said, we know it needs to go down, but if this is a bottoming, like a double bottom right here, maybe and then it doesn't. So I think we're getting some outliers here as well. But the reason I'm so happy is, listen, the inverted head and shoulders is now playing out, and I think we got some solidified confirmation here. XRP's been dwindling around, but it's staying over 229, even when it comes down below and goes above. And I only laugh for one reason when I'm doing what I'm doing. So some of you have been here long enough to know where my mind's going right now, and we'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens. So I'm not going to let the what ifs affect this feeling. I'm going to let it be, here we go. This could be something. Axelar was up like, let's see, 70-something% at its peak, I believe. Not sure where it sits right now. Oh, I forgot DAG was on here. For some reason, when I put DAG on, I got rid of Axelar like an idiot on the charting. Still 49% today. So my plan here is we've got a lot of them that are set up and ready to break out. I'm looking for a forward move on AMP because I've got so much more than I planned. I literally was planning on 500,000 tokens. I bought 4 times as many. Don't ask me because I think it could be a front runner compared to some of the other ones. Like, I think if it does it right, and AMP does what it usually does, AMP doesn't take 6 weeks to move 400%. It takes like between 18 and 40 or 18 and 72 hours usually, or 24 and 72. Like, so I'm looking for, and like with data, I'll be damned if I miss it over a few percent because I'm being a dummy. Because I could always sell out and then just buy it back if it does hit 008. Or I just front ran it. I said, the hell with this. We had a little dip this early afternoon. I don't know what it was. Somewhere around lunchtime, the market, for whatever reason, we pulled back real quick. Which it actually worked out because the market needed to backtest a previous move up in the day. So I think we're just testing the day's lows is what it seemed like. So everything seemed like standard operating procedure. So like, I'm sitting, I'm like, oh my God. Like, if this is what's happening right now, and these are inverse head and shoulders, and we knew there was an inverse head and shoulder on the right side, but the reason this is big, look at XLR. This is a big W reversal. If you start looking at this, let me put this on there. If you start looking at this across the board now, oh, forget about it when you talk about XRP healthcare in this scenario. Oh my God. If you guys are holding XRP healthcare like I am, if this is the top, forget about it. Like, this will be your last chance to buy it in this range probably for a long time. If this plays out and we're done consolidating now in crypto and we have a stretch up, oh my God. Like, instead of getting it at 7 cents, you're looking at 25 at minimum. I'm telling you, this is going to go fast. This is going to be the greatest call I've ever had. This particular token, only because so many own it. That's the truth. So many own it that this is going to make this an epic move. It's already been an epic move for some, but for what I'm looking for, I think this one's going to be, I'm going to be talking more about this in the days to come. Actually, I'm just going to be talking about more of some of these that are getting closer now because I've been trying to, I try not to talk about a lot of stuff, especially like with XRP healthcare because I own it and I briefly go over it, but I haven't shown like a big thing because I said we got to wait until we get over. But now we're getting to 70% of the move. That's the thing. Like, we're getting to 70% of the move. I think we're at 70%. If you look at the chart, maybe a little bit farther. But we're getting the back, the back 30% here. And that looks like a big W reversal there, too. Looks like an inverse right shoulder. Like, if this happens, the Gatman, welcome in along with Mark Casson. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge, Mr. Casson. And the Gatman, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years. 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hand badge. What a guy. What a guy. He says, hit the like button, you lazy bums. Yeah. What he said. 117 people watching. 41 of you have hit the like button. In some societies, unless you're playing baseball, that's not a good percentage. In baseball, you'd be doing good. You kidding me? Hitting 290 in baseball, they'd give you a fucking gold medal these days. I don't know. It's so damn boring and so stupid. I can't watch it. Let's see. Oh, I missed a couple. Frankie Fresh and Crypto Cooter, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XP Meteor. Nick Morales, welcome in. Am I glad to see you in here? I know you're feeling good right now. I know you're feeling good. Jorge, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. Hello, people. Hello, Tom. Everyone hit that like button and subscribe to Tom's channel for the best TA on YouTube. Hey, it's a non-intimidating, but it's also a non-biased technical analysis. Areli says, hey, have been waiting for you to come out smiling. I know. It's been too long, hasn't it? It's been too long. But I'm glad you noticed that I came out in a rather smiley mood. I guess it was impossible to ignore that. But I'm glad you're in the audience this evening. And I've seen you in here so much now. It makes me very happy. Florida Attorney, welcome in. Says, fire in the bowl. Yeah, might have to. Aaron R., welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3 months with the XP Meteor. Plus, 3 months plus. John Hall, welcome in, brother. I'm so glad to see you continuing your journey with us. I'm so glad to see you continuing the journey with us. You were with us before the breakout happened, or yeah, weren't you with us before this last breakout happened? When we were in the pessimistic part where nobody really wanted to understand that we needed to be buying. Oh my God, the Gatekeeper. This is another reason I came on laughing. Back above the rising wedge with like $200 to spare. Look at that. Up 131 bucks right now to 2,000. The Gatekeeper, as I've been saying. I said, this is my title. XRP close to signaling possible move into price discovery. Ethereum, the Gatekeeper of alt season. The Gatekeeper right now is giving us the business in a good way. Drubbing our nose in the fact that, you know, it was getting a bad reputation. But we knew it had a golden cross in the daily, and if it could play out, we just need to get past that pesky rising wedge breakdown, and we did. And look at XRP, my God. If that's a right shoulder, like, it turned into a W revert. I'm not ignoring it. You're not ignoring this. I know Nick isn't ignoring this. This turned into the most bullish reversal you could possibly have in the daily time frame. It even came down farther like a Gartley would. Like, Jesus Lord. If there wasn't already enough to be excited about with that inverse head and shoulder over an extended time and a massive bull flag. Because I think, if you want to go in the short term, if it stops here, I think this is only a wave 2 correction. I don't think we're in wave 4. I think this is just a wave 2 corrective, and if we're on our way to, this is part of the wave 3 move. Now, the compelling part is, and if you're new, you're going to be like, what the fuck is he talking? If you look at this, and that A, B, C, D, E, that's just supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't care though. Like I always tell my audience, W, X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3. I don't care as long as you know it's a 5-wave move in the Elliott wave. I don't want it to both say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But what if we did a long term? But I think that might invalidate itself just because of the move up and down. But I do think, I don't know though, because you know I've seen crazy. So if you don't want to acknowledge it that way, then we can do it in the shorter term. But I think we're only in wave 3 right now. If we're moving up right now, this is only wave 3. And if that's the case, because this is only the first step of many steps. That's all I'm going to say. That means you would backtest all-time highs to go up to the next layer. That means 549 is not going to be enough probably. If you go back and this finishes off, because then you would get into an ABC correction. I can almost guarantee it. Once you get up here, you're getting into an ABC correction style. You would have to. You'd have to get into some kind of 3-wave correction to try to validate whether or not you're getting into a head and shoulders, if the pattern's lost all of its steam. But you're going to get into some kind of correction, but my God. Burn everything. What are we buying today? Well, I'm not buying XRP because I've already owned it. Like, I'm not buying XLM because I've already owned it. I'm not buying XRP Healthcare because I've already owned it. So my mind said, I've got a lot of other things that I wanted. So yesterday, DGB was at like 0088. So if you look, it hasn't moved. What's it barely at? 009? I haven't looked much today. I do know it was trying to push up a little bit, but it hasn't done anything really. I think it's less than 1% the last time I looked on the day. But I bought 2.22 million of DGB. I bought AMP at around 0. It was yesterday, the first one, and then it dipped back down today. Like I said, for some reason, things dipped down earlier, so I decided to buy AMP, more of it, like a crazy man. 2,222 tokens of AMP. And then there was $4,800 worth of data earlier today. So, it's, I'm looking at things in a way that where I think, and I could be wrong, I'm not always right because you can't really predict which ones are going to move first. I'm just looking at the fact that AMP has taken so long to make a move, and it's telling me, hey, you jackass, you know, unlike some of these other ones that take 6 weeks to 6 months to move, I take 3 days to make my move. I take 3 days, Tom, and you know this. Just like data. Tom, you know, you've been watching me forever. You wouldn't even tell the community for a year. What are you waiting for, dumbass? We're at the support, you idiot. Like, what are you waiting for? And that's what I had to tell myself. So, with that being said, good evening. 6:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, June 10th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire with the side bet on XOM Future Digibyte OG, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Somebody made a funny joke, and I thought it was funny. He said, XRP Future Millionaire is not going to the gym. He just can't afford to eat anymore. That's why he's getting skinnier. Touche, my friend. Touche. That's why we call him XRP Future Millionaire, I suppose. You can welcome in. And thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Justin Wilson and Michael S. welcome in along with Michael. Dennis Smith, good evening. True, welcome in, and I'm so glad to see you in here, especially on a day where we're moving like this. But look at that W reversal, and that's a wider W as well. Like, ooh, boy. Because now that we're underneath, it's just like what I said with AMP yesterday. We're buying it because we're under the trend line. Because we're thinking it's just going to come back up, and this was going to be an overzealous dump down. So the same thing we said about AMP yesterday. Well, we're going to buy AMP even though it's underneath the Mendoza line when it was down here in these ranges. What was this? 00383. I think it was at 00389 or 0039 when I was on yesterday. But it was in this before, and now it's had a nice little push up here. So we'll see what happens. But I'm like, it's below the uptrend that it feels comfortable on, and then I drew the over the top, almost like my fan setup, just so I can see. But I don't have one drawn out, but I probably should. Only because if you're doing the fan, you're probably going to want to do it in the fan setup. So what if it was like this, and that ends up being some kind of weird wick range? You know, why not just have it? Or, you know, why have it like that? And that's what I told myself. And then I came from here. Yeah, I think that makes more sense anyhow. I wanted to talk it out just to make sure. But yeah, that makes more sense. So that's kind of what I've been telling myself here. Now that I can see this inverted arm, we keep seeing the inverse head and shoulders. And it's at a certain point, Qantas telling us at 122 right now. Axlar definitely spoke to something. ZBCN and MXC, their breakouts. That could be a prelude to some big things coming in alt season. I think Data's going to have a freaking unbelievable... If Data plays out the way I think, and I don't know when it's going to happen, is the only damn problem on Data, but just like with all of them, eventually this is going to break out, and you all know this has the biggest upside out of most of them. Like, you're talking about to get back to the top of the... I'm being legitimate with you guys. That's why Sunny Days was drawn on here. What the hell is the price right now? It's throwing me off because it's been much higher than this in the past when we were talking about it. So seeing it down here is kind of funny. We'll just call it 14420. But just to get back to the top of this pattern, to hit it for a third time, even if it's coming to a rejection, oh my God. You're talking 500%. And we're not even at the price I measured it from. I like measuring it above. I mean, you're talking and that's if it hits in November. So it's not like I'm measuring it to where it has to happen today. If I did that, then you'd have bigger returns by a little bit. See? Slightly bigger. See what I'm saying here? You'd have about 40% bigger returns if it just happened at once. But my point is that very well could be a big inverse head and shoulders that just had a very, very, very overzealous breakdown, and it was trying to force people out, and now it's forming its own big reversal. If that happens right now, we're starting a big inverse head and shoulders right now. It's just behind some of the other ones. It strikes me as the same as what we've seen on MEXC. And if you guys are new, on MEXC we did this exact same kind of analysis, and we're trying to figure it out from the bottom because it was an overzealous dump off, and we were going nuts with this. And we did it with MXZ and ZBAC. And my God, a couple times we did it, but this last time in particular, we hit ZBAC at the not the exact, but at a good spot because it had gone up, and then we looked for the consolidation back down. And after we hit it, it ended up running like 4x. Well, then we said, okay, I think it's going to have a massive correction. So I got out at like, I don't know if it hit exactly 4, but my average percentage sale was like 255%. So then we went from that, and then in MEXC, it was just unbelievable to go from that to that in MEXC. And that's what I'm looking at right now for data, because MEXC ended up running like 6x, you know, in reality. And now it's come way down as they both have, so you're not going to see that big, but it was up there, 6 or 7x. And we were in back-to-back. It was insane. But now, along the same lines of what I look for in the IoT, I think I need to start dedicating my channel more to the research in the IoT department, what we're doing in data, because how many of you never heard of Data Streamer? How many of you have never heard of MXC? ZBuck's not part of the IoT, but I am blessed that somebody brought it into my audience. I don't want to say their name because they're pissed about it still, because they pre-sold after a nice pump up and they missed the bigger pump. But let that be a lesson, not only to ride it out, but not to be afraid to come back in because you sold early. That's a lesson I had to learn the hard way many, many times, so don't feel alone. Moonchain dropped back to 1,066, that's MXC, but data at 910, so it dropped back from spot 899. Data's got this 1.14 billion total tokens in circulation. 1.14 billion. It's not very many tokens. It's not very many tokens at all. The market cap right now is, what is that, 16,870,000. The volume is 1.837 million in dollar amounts, but 132 million in volume. But it looks to me like it's getting ready to be one of these that could make some kind of slingshot. And I'm looking through the IoT tokens because I monitor this like crazy. If I wasn't XRP Future Millionaire, I'd be the IoT hunter. So I'm not even kidding. Because I love looking at this kind of stuff. Like, who the hell knows what streamer data is? Like, who knows Moonchain? Like, I never even heard of it. I don't know of it before I started, actually researching deep in the IoT. But this is where real money's made. We have XRP. We have the other stuff. But how about we make 17 grand like we did a couple weeks ago while we're waiting for the rest? And then just before that, we made a fucking 10 or 12. So my point is, if we can continue to expand our bags, I didn't always start out having 2 million DGB. I used to be the person who bought 10,000 tokens of DGB, even when it was cheap, because I didn't have any money. And what I did, most of it would go into XRP and the other. XRP is its own utility now. XRP Healthcare is its own utility. XLM is its own utility. DGB is its own utility now that I got the Digibyte wallet. It's never going to be sold again. I don't care if it goes, I'm riding DGB to the shit house. If we go to the shit house, at least I get to go with DGB and some of the rest. But there's a few of these that I know, and if BITUNIX had them on there, and I'm going to look at some of the other ones, like L-Bank, you could technically, because I bought all of my DGB through L-Bank and sent it over to the Digibyte wallet, and $16,800 worth to buy those 2,222,000 tokens. It only cost me like, what was it, 70 something dollars total in fees. I tried to do it on crypto.com just to see, and it said that it was going to cost me $18,800 or some shit. That's $2,500. Like, we got to stop throwing the money away to these exchanges. That's why I love BITUNIX. L-Bank, if you can use it as an opportunity, and I'll look on there for some of these tokens in the IoT, but we got to get back to XRP. But I'm just telling you, this is the route that I like to take. And some of you have taken such a deep interest in data now. I think you see what I'm talking about. It's pre-Moonchain, before it had that move. And not necessarily ZBuck, because they don't run in the same formation. But there's definitely something there. So I'll tell you more about these later. I want to continue to move on with the momentum we have with XRP and some of these others. But I'm telling you, if this is the start of this breakout with data, remember, confirmation was at 0.18. It's over 0.18. So now, the reason I decided to buy it a few percent earlier is because I said, I'm just going to run up with it. I'm not going to, whatever. If it goes down, the hell with it. We had these little pushbacks here. That's when I did it. I don't know why it had these pushbacks. Like I said, we were with my son at his therapy, and we had these pushbacks, and I don't know exactly why, but when I seen it, I'm like, the hell with this. I'm buying it at 143, whatever it was. And I was happy with it. I said, I'm going to front run it. The hell with it. And if it comes down, too bad. And I remember I was specifically happy about the 1 hour because that's what it was right in here. The back test on the 100 day or the 20 day after a golden cross in the hourly. I said, hey, and now it might come down, it might not. I don't even care. I got into this. I got into a nice mindset now with all of this to just, it is what it is. It is what it is. Just like my commodity stocks. At least until this breaks down or breaks out, I'm going to hold the route. But if the route breaks down, I'm going to sell. Not DGB. I'm not doing that. I'm just going to buy more. I'm going to buy more. Because 2.22 million, if I can and it drops out, I'm going to buy another million if I have it. And then I'm going to buy more. And I'm just going to keep doing it, and who knows. Maybe I'll be one of the large whales on DGB. In context, of course. Tanya May, welcome in, love, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. I love it. Frankie Fresh bought more data today too. Yes, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I've got 300. I don't know why I can't remember the exact amount. 328,896 data. I'm loving it. It's all on a losing. Algo wants to jam out. Algo, IOTA with those big inverse head and shoulders. So I'm looking at AMP, and I'm hoping it front runs a few of these. I'm taking a gamble. But DGB's starting to try to ball out a little bit here. DGB is so far behind right now. Once it happens, my God. I'm telling you, I have put a lot of stake into this one, haven't I? A lot of steak and potatoes into DGB. I might be eating oatmeal for the rest of the year if it goes belly up. You know, so, but I'm looking to upgrade to a porterhouse here. Looking for a porterhouse, not oatmeal dinners. AUB, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. I think AMP absolutely could see 2 cents, but it's going to take time. I don't know if it's going to go all the way up there and then a pullback. But I think we could see a nice run up here. We've got a lot of numbers before 002, but it all depends on the route it takes. But, I mean, once it starts going, it's not going to be easy to stop it. It's been well overdue. And it's just one that I haven't stopped looking at. And if this inverse head and shoulders in this, it's playing out exactly like it did before. But that's a massive invert. That's exactly how Axlar looked. But sometimes you do get those anomaly ones so that you think that everything's going to break out, then some break down. If this breaks out like it's supposed to, you could get a quick shot all the way up to 1 cent before you could even blink. And then it might have that quick pullback. But I think, you know, in reality, you would want to come all the way up to the top because you've already had 2 taps on the pattern. You know, in reality, a real 2 taps. And then it wants to come back up to the top. That's a big move up. But there's those micro levels in between that you got to pay attention to. There's no doubt about it. The first one being 1 cent. Albank, I don't know where you live. Because actually you say it don't work for you. I live in Michigan. And it told me that it was restricted where I lived. And I just downloaded it on the mobile, in the Android store anyhow. Contacted customer service, and they're like, it's fine in the USA. We just have to put that warning because of the regulations in the USA. Kind of like we cover our own ass. And I use it. I don't use a VPN or KYC or anything like that. I just use it. And I transferred a lot of money through DGB. You know, like I said, I bought 2.22 million DGB through Albank. So I had to send money from BITUNIX to Albank, and then from Albank to my Digibyte wallet. But like I said, 3 out of 4 got to my Digibyte wallet within 15 minutes. The 4th one, because of network congestion with Digibyte, it's not a popular one. I sent like 900,000 tokens at the end, and it took like 6 hours. And I talked about it in the live. Customer service answered in like 2 seconds. And they're like, yeah, we just, sometimes with these tokens, we have network congestion because we don't have a lot of, let's just say a lot of movement from that wallet. And they just kind of wait for a few of them. You know how it works if you deal with these. So that's one thing if you have less liquidity, you know, on trying to transfer out from a wallet. or from an exchange into your wallet. That happens. Let's see. Crypto Scrooge, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 4 years with the XRP Phoenix badge. It's going swell, my friend. Very well. Hopefully you're having a great day, my friend. Let's see. Who did I miss? Who did I miss? The Gatman, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years. Yeah, 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. XRP Healthcare, indeed. It's a sleeping giant. It's an absolute sleeping giant. Crazy Paul, welcome in. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor, along with Papa Wheelie. And let's see, Richard Volkmar, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XP Meteor. Tom, are you communicating with me on your Telegram because you respond? No, I am not. I am not. I am not responding to you on Telegram. Because I don't have a message from you on Telegram, and I can't find you on Telegram like I've said for the last, I don't know how many days. So, it's got to be a scammer. Because the moment I was able to find you, I would have tried to add you, but I can't find you. So, somehow I'm blocked from seeing you. Not the other way around. John Patak, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XP589 Moon Badge. Let's see. Too woke time. Mm-hmm. Marco Tremblay and Timothy Perez, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3 months with the XP Meteors. Shane, welcome in, says I'm rocking with less than. Oh, they're talking about XP Healthcare and a bunch of other things. Welcome in, Shane. Oh, yes, you guys are talking about the good stuff with XRP Healthcare. Chris, welcome in. Chris Bouchal, welcome in. Yes, Axelar did a great move for the day. XR Perfection, welcome in. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XP Predictor. I mean, the XRP Diamond Hands badge. XRP looking for a beautiful close here, guys. I'm trying to go all over so you guys can see where my head's at here, but XRP is looking at a beautiful close here. And we could be looking for some serious movement here. If this holds, we're looking at $2.71 in the near term. And then ultimately, if we can get over that level, you're talking about we're going to be pushing ourselves towards price discovery in the near future. And it would be something spectacular. We're just trying to make sure no right shoulder forms here. And in order to push past that, we're going to need to get past $3 plus to feel good about this. And then you want to make sure that you don't get a wider double top. So we got to get over $3.50 and plus to feel good about this. So there's a lot of things going on, but a lot to be excited about. Just, you pay attention, you be leery, but you don't let it stop you. So I kept saying the last few days, when you find an opportunity, you take it, even if you feel some kind of way. What's the worst that can happen? You lose a little bit of money, you sell out before it takes the big drop, and then you buy back even more of what you had and then some. You just look like you have a little less in your portfolio, but do you really is the question. If you hold more tokens than you had before the drop, doesn't that actually put you in a better position? So it's all about reading and timing. So, a lot of ways to look at it. Let's see. I started seeing you pop up on my Facebook when XRP was at 50 cents. Been following you ever since. See, that makes me happy that I started that Facebook side. I'm almost at 5,000 followers on Facebook, but I've seen some of you. I'm so glad that you found me on Facebook, Aurelie. It's so very happy. You've been a great addition to the community. I love it. Love the sunglasses too. Styling and profiling, as they say. Power Gear says, where is Balzac? I don't know. What platform can I get XRP Healthcare? I mean, you can buy it on different wallets, but you have to understand how to do the docs and all that crap. You can buy it on Albank. We used to buy it on, what the hell was that damn exchange? MEXC before they got rid of the USA back in 23. Was it 23 or early 24? I can't remember now. Everything's kind of merged because I've been doing this every day since March 24th of 2021. I haven't taken a day off. So sometimes it gets merged together, but man, have we come a long way. Nick Morales says, nope, not ignoring it at all. All the EMAs and FEGs on top of everything else were so good to go. Oh, it feels like it, Nick. Like, oh my God. Adam Reynolds, thank you so much for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Another one, style and profiling, got that backwards cap on. I love it. You know, I used to wear my hat backwards all the time. I don't know what happened. I think I just got old. I'm like, oh man, the sun's in my eyes. I gotta turn my hat around like the old man who doesn't want the sun in his eyes. But I do have a built-in excuse because I have keratoconus in my left eye, so you know, I could just say that. But like we got some handsome fellas and ladies in this audience. Well, handsome fellas and beautiful ladies in this audience. We're very styling, but we're very positive, very loving, very caring. But you know what this community has is we have integrity. And thank you for the $4.99 donation, Adam. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, honestly. It's an illusion says there's a very viable wave count that this is wave 3 of a macro 5th wave. Interesting. I mean, I could see it if you put it together from the beginning. We had this drawn out, but before I switched it, I could see that if you take it from the beginning, and then we're in that 5th wave micro move out of a bigger macro 5. Now you're going like Inception. Now you're going, you know, Elliott within an Elliott within an Elliott wave. We have 5 wave within a 5 wave. Where does it end? Where does it end? We're like mad scientists in here. Just sent it. Hey, Tom, do you think ZBCN is getting ready to reverse to the upside? That's one that I've been punching myself all day asking that question about. Because it was down 11%. And it's like, I think it could come down farther, but now we have a viable pattern. Right? Now we at least have a viable pattern. With that come down like that, that's viable now. At least we know what's going on. Now when you look at it like that, what do you first think? I'm gonna put it in the 3 hour. I think it would pop a little bit better. What would you think? I wouldn't, or you can go like this. Actually, I tend to say more like this. I don't like that. That doesn't seem right. I like that better. I don't know. Because if I squeeze it too much, then it makes it look stupid. And then we might lose some off the back end. So I'm not going to squeeze it. I'm just going to go back here. I'll let it do what it's supposed to do. Just so we don't get kind of out of there. But I mean, is this going to be a death cross and come down and this play out as a topping reversal? And that bear flag's going to actually play out? Or is this going to turn into a massive reversal here? Like, that's the question. It's been a very big move up, though. Let's see if I can catch up. Britain, welcome in. Matt Grimes says, word up, Deegans. Let's see. Who else did I miss? King DDD, welcome in. Day. Is that Day? DDD? DD? Today? I don't know. One of them. Probably none of them. Could be one of them. Just send it. Hey, Tom, do you think... Oh, yeah, I just answered that about ZBCN. It's a difficult one. If it's not breaking down here, even if it's bearish, it could come right back up to 4.6. Huh? Yeah, that's fine. Then he can do whatever he wants, right? I've got about 20 minutes left, Julie. Okay. Kyle Kupiak, welcome in. Cape Cod Kyle. From Massachusetts. I love it. Also in Tom's Army for over a year, even if I won't tell him. Matt Grimes has over 100,000 of stronghold, so be a goal. Fear and greed keeps creeping up. Indeed it does. Indeed it does. Gotta have some greed to pull it up if it's gonna go, but eventually. But right now I feel good. Ethereum, which is the gatekeeper, it's breaking out. And if it breaks out, we know where it's going. A breakout gets you all the way up to like $3,400. So And that's a massive inverse head and shoulders, if I've seen one. And we've officially gotten back above the rising wedge breakdown, which gets us out of the deep end. So, I'm not mad about this. Because now you can see it's bona fide setup. Look at that. That right arm is just elevated. It's an elevated right arm, which is good. Right at the golden cross. And this could slingshot us. This could definitely slingshot us. Frankie Fresh says he's got 207,000 data. Yeah, I think I have, I don't know, 328,000 if I'm not mistaken. So I'm on board, dude. I feel the same way if we're going to have something here. Mike says let's see what Mike says. Always interesting comments from Mike. Tom, I'm sitting here wearing nothing but one tube sock, eating pepperonis on the couch, just to watching your show. This is my favorite part of my day. I'm glad I can get you through the rough parts. Well, not the rough parts, but get you to the good parts. Ricky would be very proud of you from Trailer Park Boys eating the pepperoni. He commonly and famously is known for running around with pepperoni sticks. Let's see. SHX is up 78%. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, James, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to make sure that they're on BITUNIX because I don't want to go anywhere else to buy them. That's why right now the focus for me on BITUNIX is AMP. And not that you can't buy AMP elsewhere, but just the fees are so cheap. And data right now are the two big focuses on that exchange. I wish they had DGB, but it's not a big deal now because I got them in my DGB wallet. But that's the other thing with DGB. Look how many exchanges that it could be listed on to make the price go out of this fucking world. Come in and just wait. I didn't wait for 008 for data. I ended up caving at 014 something. I can't remember the exact 014. I think it was 01438. Can't remember exactly what. My son was in his therapy earlier. It was an impulse decision. A very big impulse decision. But Ethereum ended up popping out here a little bit more, so it seems like it's probably going to work out for the best, but you never know. This is the thing, you never know. 1 minute it seems good, next minute it might not, but we're getting a lot of outliers here. A lot of outliers today. Tom, another channel mentioned today that one of Coinbase's wallets has 54 million Myria crypto, and I don't even know what the hell is Myria. I'm trying to, what is Myria? MYRIA. I'll wait for your comment below. Let's see. Yeah, Johnny Roberts. HBAR is another one with that inverse head and shoulders that is in that buy area. If you're looking at this market breaking out right now, this is the buy zone. You're just north of this uptrend. You're back testing, and you're on the outside of the breakout in the short term. Yes, you could say there's a channel that you have to get past over the top, but that's at like 24 cents on a breakout. So, you know, even if you had to sell, there is opportunity here. And that's a nice W reversal. Looks like an inverse right shoulder. We've had a massive consolidation. You're getting a better than 50% deal right now from the top of this bull cycle. So, you've got to, you know, it's one of those things. If you see a deal that's too good to pass up, and look at that on the screen. You can see that big inverse head and shoulders. Now, does it play out? Nobody knows. But if it does, Lord have mercy. On all of these. On all of these. There's so many of these that we've been watching that are set up the same. Now, if they fall through, God have mercy on us. Because it's not going to be fun. Because if it falls through from here, we're going to fall through. We built up quite the structure. Now, the good news is there's quite a bit of liquidity up at like 114, 115, 116 on Bitcoin. You know, even if it went up short term and got clobbered, which that definitely means that we have a lot of upward potential and momentum here. Sean Crothers, welcome in, my main man from Maine, and also a very trusted man. Crypto Plumber 589, thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Said I just added you on Facebook myself. Excellent. I'm looking to put more content on Facebook that's separate from YouTube. And it'll involve, because I can't do a screencast on Facebook, but I'll use my touchscreen. I'll use my touchscreen behind me, and that'll be the way that I can do technicals on there so everybody can at least see the charts. So I got a touchscreen TV that's 32 inches. Might as well make the use of it. I look at it right now. And I literally, that's how I'm scrolling through the comments. So it makes things a lot easier. That's how you don't have to see the comments scrolling across the screen anymore. I know a lot of people were offended by that. But not just offended, it was annoying, which I get. Let's see. We'll take a look at XCN chain for sure. I just want to make sure I get through all of these comments. Poppy Lou, I don't know what SFI is. I'll have to look at that. I'm running out of time here, so I don't know if I'll get to that tonight. I see some of you are putting some things that I do have on my list, so take a look. Let's see. Alright, so XCN real quick. Because Julie's feeding my son, our son. And but he decided to get up at 12:30 a.m. He stayed up all night until school this morning. And then he had food therapy, and he did fine in it, but he came home and he crashed like at 2 o'clock. And he's just woke up at like 6. And she's feeding him right now, but he's like still, I don't know if he's acknowledging so much. But he's got a G-tube. He's about to be 6 next month, though, so it's pretty crazy how quick they grow up. What was it? XCN down 1.6% on the day. Another one that, if it breaks out of here, it's going to be something big. That's a big inverse head and shoulders. I've talked about this a lot with XCN. Massive inverse head and shoulders. It's massive. There's so many of these I could buy, and XCN very well is on that list of possibilities here, because that's a nice bull flag here. So you never know what an impulse decision could do, because that looks like it's imminently about to break out. In the hourly, that looks like a nice bull flag. So if you hold XCN, this is probably a good moment here. Nice bull flag. Let's take this out, kind of measure it in the middle. Put you into this range over the top in the short term on a breakout. So now it's almost like, do you want to take the risk of not buying it here? And now you got to buy it anywhere between 8 and 10% more. Because that looks almost like an imminent bounce is about to happen here. That looks like a pretty set up bull flag to me. So anything urgently? I don't know. Just depends what you're looking at. If there was any, movement you were trying to make. All I've said is that I bought 328,000 of data earlier. Yesterday I bought AMP, and I bought more AMP earlier when it made that little dump down when my son was in therapy. It was just after noon. And then I bought DGB yesterday. Other than that, I don't think there's much. But I bought 2.22 million of DGB, so I have a couple 100,000 more DGB than I had before. So pretty happy about that. But that looks like a pretty nice flag there by XCN. So we'll see if that plays out. It does look like a nice flag. I wonder if some of these other ones have that defined of a flag. Not a defined. But it's still over the top, just like in the hourly. Let's see about this. Man, that is sexy on XCN right now, though. I'll say. That's sexy. Look at that. That's a sexy setup if I've ever seen it. That's begging for attention. That is begging for attention. I just might be the person that can give it attention. If I do a quick poll here, I have a question. I'm curious what the audience would say. Is Axion... Wait a minute, Shane. You hold Axion, and I once said that the next time around, if I seen an opportunity, that I would ride it with you. So this might be that opportunity where I have to be a person of my word here, because I've seen worse times that you could go with it. Sorry, I'm looking at I like to look at the numbers so I can see what I'm getting myself into. Let's go. Okay. So I think this is what I'm going to do. And we know where the support is. We know where resistance is. We know where all this good stuff is. So XCN, we've been watching it for a long time, and that is a compelling inverse head and shoulders. So limit. Let's see. Let's see, what did it do? Did it already fill that? That was quick. So I'm riding with you, Shane. 204,222 XCN. I am in the game. A lot of you begged me last time to ride this with you. It was not on BITUNIX. And I said next time I would not make an excuse, because I actually like it. I like what it's setting up. And now that it's there, I'm going to take the shot with all of you. So make it or break it. But I got 3,100 reasons to root for XCN. Now, what'll end up happening is everything will fall off a cliff. But nonetheless, it's still fun to be among others when we're trying to make this journey happen. So I'm not a financial advisor, so I would probably do the opposite of what I do. I'm not as smart as those guys. But all good things must come to an end. All good things must come to an end, and this live's coming to an end pretty quickly here. Like I said, Julie's doing a feeding, and I want to make sure that I can help her towards the back end of it. So, but I hope you had a compelling time here during this live. I hope you've been enjoying the content. Make sure you pay attention to XRPFutureMillionaire.com. Who the hell knows when it's going to be finished? Soon. As you can see, there's still some updates happening as we speak in real time. More things are being added. More things are being fixed. They're working on the API, yada, yada, yada. But, scroll through it. Soon I'm going to have the ability to go live on here. XRP market cap looks spectacular. Doesn't that look like a big all-time cup and handle that's about to break out here? Doesn't it look like we're going to go plus 200 billion, probably to 240 billion here? Oh, boy. Like, look at this. Doesn't that look like we could make a push? And this is what I mean. This is why you don't even have to have TradingView. Go to my website, even while it's in this beta shit, and you can use it just like this. I've already paid for the dedicated servers. You can go to any chart you want on any market. Thanks, Crypto Scrooge. I appreciate it. You have a blessed night as well, my friend. Papa Wheelie says, about time, you son of a bitch, buying XCN. Yeah, I know. It is about time. It is about time, but I did say that when I felt the time was right, at least to where it looks like some kind of potential is going on. What the hell? What did I do? Oh, I must have clicked on something. I don't know. What is that? That's Coinbase. Probably wasn't on Coinbase as early. Let's see. Whew. Look at that big cup and handle. My God. If this actually broke out, holy hell. I mean, my God. There's so many of these that we can say the same. Oh, somebody wanted me to bring up Quant, and I forgot. Here, I'll do it right from the website. Quant. You can do it too. Oh, they must have just got that on MXC. I'll be darned. Let's see. I'm sure BitGat had it for a decent amount of time. Quant doesn't. Quant just keeps moving. That's a nice inverse head and shoulder that's trying to break out here. In fact, when you go wider on this, let's see. It's always good to test it out too to make sure it's functioning. That's a nice weekly candle there too. That's a breakout candle. Whew. That's what I mean. A lot of this is looking very spicy. Have a good one, everybody, but I'm going to go. Have a good one. I've appreciated it immensely. I love all of you, and have a blessed evening. Don't forget to give thanks to the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.